What is going on, everyone? Welcome into Big Time Football Talk. So I wanted to start with this. Najee Harris was in the news. Mark in the Bet posted this story. I think he's from Alabama, like Birmingham News, Alabama, AL.com is what it is. So he posted this unusual story about Najee Harris, how he was sent home from Pittsburgh Steelers practice because he just was just staying after practice so long, we just needed a break from football. I think this is just hilarious, and but it's awesome in the sense that it just shows what type of work ethic Najee Harris is, and just what dedication, all the hours he's put in to be great. Starting back when he was, top recruit coming into, the University of Alabama. And just how hard he worked to, compete with some of the other guys like Josh Jacobs, Bo Scarborough. Yeah, and you look at, all of the guys, there's a lot of great players that work really hard, but just like, it seems like you can almost, maybe with this story, you could put Najee Harris in that like exceptional work ethic category, like Tom Brady, Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson was so funny back at Oklahoma. They used to come and have people watch him work out. He was just that, crazy of a work ethic. But, Eddie Faulkner, the Steelers running back coach who's sent him home, told the Steelers running back Najee Harris to, quote, take a break from football. He also said, quote, go watch TV or something, just, something to, do something else. But, yeah, and then it was reported earlier in that month that Ben Roethlisberger told Najee Harris he had to go home because I think they stayed after practice for 2 or 3 hours just working on routes and getting everything crisp. And Ben Roethlisberger said, "Najee, I got to go home now." To he's got a family and stuff. So yeah, it's just incredible the competitiveness and the work ethic that Najee Harris has really developed, and it shows why he's just been a monster in the weight room. You saw that picture of his quads that went trending, just absolutely ripped, and is reunited with his former Alabama teammate Minkah Fitzpatrick, and Minkah Fitzpatrick said, quote, he loves his competitiveness, and he is just getting the best out of the Steelers defenders in practice. And it goes back to, the competitive atmosphere that's bred championships at Alabama. It's bred great players, and it's, led to a lot of great things that, like the Nick Saban recruiting pitch. He talked about how Amari Cooper went against Marlon Humphrey in practice every day, and that made those guys better. It made them have a lot of success in the NFL. And talked about how Jonathan Allen went against Cam Robinson every day, and those two going after it in practice made each other better for it. And the guy they played in practice all week was better than a lot of times than the guy they played Saturday. So, yeah, it's just awesome to hear this about Najee Harris. I thought I would share it. That was a story, about 5 or 6 days ago, but I thought it was just awesome stuff. And, Najee Harris set up to have a great year. Is James Conner no longer with the team, and he's primed to do a lot of great things. Does work in the run game, passing game, and he's just a tremendous pass blocker. You saw how crucial he was to Alabama's run to the national championship. I made my argument that he should have won the Heisman Trophy because of how valuable he was to that offensive side of the ball alone, even though Bama had a tremendous quarterback in Mac Jones and a good defense all around. But, yeah, so just wanted to share that. So next I wanted to talk about, I've seen a lot of people online try to discuss, their top cornerbacks in the NFL. Pro Football Focus recently came out with their top 32 in the NFL. CBS had a top 10. I just kind of wanted to break down mostly the consensus top 3. Here's my top 3 guys that I'm going to make a case for who's number 1. So I thought this was super fun. I went back and watched film of last year, 2020, kind of watched, some of their key matchups. And I broke it down to 3 guys that are my favorite top corners. So when I did this grading, I did top their success in 2020 combined with their skill set. And then I kept age as a factor a little bit, not a whole lot. But, it just so happened that these 3 guys were under 26 years old. So, yeah, the first guy was Marlon Humphrey. Marlon Humphrey is part of a great cornerback depth chart. The Baltimore Ravens have Jimmy Smith, Marlon Humphrey himself, and then Marcus Peters. So tremendous cornerback room that Baltimore has. Marlon Humphrey, 24 years old, turns 25 next month, July 8th, enters his 5th year in the NFL. And what's key here is, like these three guys having a lot of the best corners, a tremendous 40 time at the combine a few years ago. So I'm not sure. He may not run this now, but obviously he's got to be, running still close to this time. He ran a 4.41 at the combine. Most corners that have been successful in the NFL are low 4.4s to 4.3 guys. So, yeah. And just Humphrey has shown such a good tackling ability. Last year he had 8 forced fumbles, just as has a knack for just punching the ball out, which is so crucial because, having success in the NFL, creating turnovers is huge. And, he hasn't had like a big year of like interceptions. I think he's had, 1 or 2 all 3 seasons, but 8 forced fumbles is just absolutely ridiculous. And, turning the ball over is so crucial to success in the NFL. So, that is just exceptional stuff there, and it hardly ever allows separation. Pretty good technique, fluid hips. They really put him on an island one-on-one against a lot of top-notch receivers like the other 2 guys I'm going to list here. The A.J. Brown matchup was tremendous, and you're going to get got. You're going to win some, lose some. That was the bottom line with the A.J. Brown matchup. A.J. Brown had a touchdown on him that could have been called offensive pass interference, could have been arguably a push-off on A.J. Brown, but Humphrey had a couple pass breakups on him. One, he forced him out of bounds, and then one, he got the, popped the ball out. So, yeah, I really love watching Marlon Humphrey play, and he was a guy that came out of Alabama. I did not think he would be necessarily a superstar in the NFL. I thought he could be a solid player, but boy, is he just worked to become, one of the NFL's top corners, playing outside, playing in, the slot once in a while, and I'd like to see him be a little more aggressive as a tackler, but man, he really drives people to the ground when he does hit guys. So, that's Marlon Humphrey. That's his case there, and it's a pretty good one for the top. I think there's a lot of people that have him as the top corner. But next guy is Jaire Alexander. And Alexander, like a lot of people touch on, he doesn't really get a lot of the credit he deserves. He is a very incredible talent. He's only 24 years old, enters his 4th year in the NFL. And if you go back, he ran a 4.38 at the combine. And, Green Bay was something that they run a lot of zone, and he shows great ability in zone and man-to-man coverage. Shows a good tackling ability, rarely ever gets beat deep. That's something I really loved about Jaire, and doesn't allow a whole lot of separation. And he has a very good, quick back pedal and fluid hips, of course, like Marlon Humphrey. And could be more aggressive as a tackler, but he's very fundamentally sound tackler and doesn't miss a lot. But, like Humphrey, I'd like to see him come more aggressively at an angle on run plays. But, this year he had did a good job on T.Y. Hilton, had a play where he just was stride for stride with him, just kind of his physicality pushed him out of bounds. And the thing I love about Alexander, and it goes back to when he was in college against Deshaun Watson and Clemson, he likes to shine in big games, had 2 interceptions at NFC Championship game on Tom Brady. And, he plays, just loves the limelight, and had a big game against the LA Rams too. So here's Alexander's playoff stats in the 2 games this year versus the Rams and then versus Tampa Bay in the NFC Championship. 7 targets, 1 completion allowed, and 2 interceptions. So the playoff stats is great, which is crucial to me because I love guys that step up in big games. It says a lot about their skill set, and it says a lot about their mentality as a player. So. And, it shows they're really fearless also. So, Jaire Alexander, got guy that just not talked about enough, but just a exceptional talent, and still a very young player with a bright future ahead of him in Green Bay. So that was a case for Jaire. Let's go to the next guy, Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey now enters his, what's it going to be, 6th year in the National Football League. If you go back to the 2015 season, there was a ton of talk about Jalen Ramsey, potentially being the best defensive player in that draft. It was him and Joey Bosa were two of the more dominant players in that draft. Both of them went top 5 in that 2016 draft following the 2015 season. Ramsey got the measurables you want. He's everything you really want in a cornerback. Good size, good length. 6'1", 194 pounds, 33 and 3/8 arms length, 4.41 speed, and a 41.5-inch vertical. And he's a very physical tackle. Not only will just come up and wrap you up, but will wrap you up and drive you to the ground. And had a huge hit on Golden Tate this year, and then another big hit, drive tackle into the ground on Mike Evans. He's got a very fast back pedal, and he's not afraid to cover anyone man-to-man in the league. That is one thing I love about Ramsey. He'll give up some yards because he's going man-to-man a lot. Against some of the best receivers in the NFL. The Rams aren't afraid to run a lot of man-to-man and put Ramsey on the opponent's best player. And bottom line, he's an alpha competitor, fearless. Like I said, wanted to go against Mike Evans last year and did a great job. And so Jalen Ramsey really got everything you want with size, speed, and he's been doing it for several years now. On his second team in the LA Rams, also played for the Jacksonville Jaguars for his first about 2.5 years. And so this was a tough call, but Jalen Ramsey gets the edge for me with the 2021 in consideration and the skill set. I don't always watch corners closely, and it's very hard with the broadcast, but with Jalen Ramsey's alpha competitiveness, size, length, and speed, it's got Jalen Ramsey was the edge for me. Jaire Alexander, Marlon Humphrey, very close to. You can make a case, even for some other guys, Tre'Davious White, Stephon Gilmore. There's a lot of good cornerbacks in the National Football League, and kind of making the case for the best receiver, making the case for the best cornerback in the National Football League is very tough. If you break down like the top, like a consensus D lineman is Aaron Donald, whether you want to consider him a D tackle, defensive end, edge, but he's pretty much the consensus there. And safety is another tough one, but so Jalen Ramsey gets the edge for me. I thought this was, super fun to, break down these three guys. Excited to watch these three next year in 2021. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. Stay tuned for more clips and episodes from the show. Till next time, peace.